What skills could you offer in an apocalypse? I could play Batches Toccata and Fugue in D minor on the organ as the doom approached. Bait. I don't know if this counts as a skill, but I can really bring down the morale of others around me and make people splinter off into factions when they should be working together. I could also sabotage efforts to overcome obstacles through starting infighting by hiding food and pouring out water supplies to create unnecessary conflict. I can fix a car, wire up solar panels and batteries, do some carpentry, and I'm a pretty good shot. But I live in a city, so in just about any apocalyptic situation I'll probably die pretty quickly. I can cook pretty decently, and also being anxious about every small issue, which results in hours of crying. Not sure if that would be a good trade-off. I can be used as a bad example. I've worked as a mechanic and a plumber, but I'm also trained in electronics repairs and basic house wiring. I'm a pretty decent carpenter and I've remodeled several houses for friends. I can set up and maintain a powered and plumbed compound with scavenged materials and several assistants. I should also think that improvising defenses and weapons would fall into my wheelhouse. I'm studying computer science, so duck me I guess. I can count till 7, and I can also eat toilet paper as a reliable food source. I'm a forensic entomologist. While decomposing cadavers cannot be used to implicate criminals anymore, I imagine my skills would be instrumental in food production and distinguishing between arable land and pasturable land imbued with plants conducive for insect population resurgences. I'd work concurrently with farmers to establish and cultivate any viable insects to fertilize crops to augment the sustainability of our food supplies. I'm a bushcrafter by hobby, working on getting into competition shooting, and I've taken first aid courses. I can look after animals. Paramedic, so basically an apocalypse doctor. Sucking dick if it came to it. I can grow stuff and weed. I can sew, and I'm good with an arrow from years of practice. Edit. Forgot to mention I can scale and gut fish in open water and butcher small animals like chickens and squirrels. I was an auto mechanic for 10 years. I can weld, and I'm a licensed gunsmith. Therapy. You're all gonna need it. I could provide the useful skill of talking about the now non-existent video games and provide all their lore. I know the lore of a couple of games better than an average Joe. I'm not a doctor, engineer, or expert survivalist. I barely even know first aid. The only thing I realistically think I could offer is to be a long distance foot messenger. I run ultra marathons, and assuming all telecoms are down I might be your best hope of sending vital information where it needs to be. Self-defense and basic wilderness survival. Also how to harvest nuclear parts out of everyday items. To offer burial services and guarding the graves of the deceased with a fully loaded holy pistol. Let me just say, I love this question. It makes people think about their good qualities and what they could do to help. I'm good at maths and science, so I'd be able to aid in research. Additionally, when it comes to emergency situations I'm good at keeping a cool head and getting things done. I'd definitely be more behind the scenes than actually going out foraging / defense etc, but I could help out. I have a really green thumb. I can grow almost anything and make anything almost edible. I can also keep the garden maintained without having to leave the safety of the place I'm staying. For example, mixing rainwater with garlic in a spray bottle is a natural pesticide, as bugs hate garlic. If you have access to milk, it removes mildew off of plants. If you are in a drier area and need to conserve water, grow cacti. Almost all cacti fruit are edible and can be peeled and eaten or used for water, although most cacti stalks are harmful. If you are in a wet place, you can grow aquatic plants. If you're not too excited to eat an aquatic plant, you can use it to attract wildlife by offering a potential habitat. Then eat the wildlife. Don't wanna make this too long, but all gardening should be self-sustainable. You shouldn't need outside help or new products every time you want to restart a garden. Edit. Clarification on what parts of cacti are safe. I know a lot of pointless information from listening to educational podcasts. Could be useful one day. I'm also an okay cook when options are limited. Gym a challenge to make something tasty out of slim pickings and I think I do alright. I'm a Shrek's worker and have a lot of masseurs experience, so I guess I could relieve mental and physical stress. I also have a decent understanding of programming and general electronics. I have the special ability of making food disappear before it goes bad. That way nobody gets sick and will never accidentally eat anything after it spoils. You're welcome. Rapier wit and well-timed sarcasm. I know how to wash clothes in a river without soap. I think I'd do pretty well in a zombie apocalypse. I worked on yachts for about 10 years. Selling, teaching selling, and doing fiberglass repairs. I have also been a bike mechanic and biked from Mexico to Canada on dirt roads along the Rockies. This involved a lot of endurance and long, grueling days eating not especially appetizing food and living in a tent. These aside, I'm generally pretty handy and can do a little bit of electrical work. I also can get by in Spanish and I'm learning French. Between green transportation, less desirable than internal combustion, but valuable skills nonetheless. Language and experiences. I think I'd do pretty well in a survivalist scenario. All that being said, I don't do well with large amounts of blood. I'm pretty good with herbs. I'm a former EMT who now works in the and in my downtime I watch a lot of survivalist shows. I also watch those dudes make pools in the jungle, so I can totally do all of that. I can make a sink barn with a milk jug and a sink. And I need a barn. Moral encouragement. I can probably get some small networks and communication going again with my CS degree, so that might be helpful. Also last night I learned how to make a bong out of an apple. I can shoe a horse. Also, I'm a ducking awesome cowboy. Moral support and I can make a drink/brew beer and ginger beer. Everybody needs that guy who's really great at making amazing sounding plans, but is extremely incompetent at executing those plans. Right? And I also know how to shoot a gun and use a bow, as well as a couple other survival skills like whittling. So I guess I've got something beyond sarcasm and self-depreciating humor. I'm a nurse/midwife, with skills in emergency medicine and surgery. I also have knitting, sewing and crochet skills. Plus have several properties with lots of land. But when push comes to shove, who cares whose name is on the title deed? I have a really cool family. My husband is very hardworking and has medical skills as well. My brother is a doctor who has his own plane and a good hunter. My father is super smart and he is skilled at fixing and making things with wood and metal. My sister and mother are really good at cooking and organizing. My Bill has security skills and computer it skills. My Sil has skills in pathology. All up we would probably do okay together or be useful to a community. I could serve as bait to get food. I can play video games. Oh, sorry, I missed the last part of the question. Yeah, I'm useless here. I have some survivalist skills. Can make shelters. Brew some mead if we find supplies. I have a leatherman tool. I can shoot a bow decently, won regional championships, and study several languages, but I DK the use of that. I have a degree in medical lab science, and I'm still a certified tech. So I can draw blood and other body fluids. I can operate the analyzers, fix them when they don't work, and if all else fails I can do the tests manually. I can interpret the results too. So yeah, pretty handy, I'd wager. You're gonna need doctors and nurses and surgeons and shit for sure, but wouldn't hurt to have some scientists and lab dudes around. I can shoot stuff I guess. Edit. NVM surviving. Because with an apocalypse there is 100% of a failure from the military, and I'm in the military and therefore I'd probably die in that first part. Emergency meat. I'm an expert marksman, a skilled thief, and genetic biologist in training. I could shoot the Zeds, sneak in and nab supplies, and reinvent certain medicines in the event they were lost or run out. I could occasionally make everyone laugh. And I can brew a mean cup of coffee, so if anyone has coffee, I'd be glad to brew some up on a fire. I could beat a grown man to death with my bare hands. I'm still a lover more than a fighter, but I also don't do those weights for nothing. First aid. I'd run the best apocalypse bar in town. I'm just suicidal enough to jump into a horde with a bomb. Crochet. You'd all come crawling to me for blankets and hats when that nuclear winter hits. I grew up in the country. Learned to hunt, fish, trap. After graduation went into the military and learned new skills. Pretty handy when it comes to surviving, and I'm really looking forward to a new plague, seeing as this world has too many people. Self-deprecating humor. I'll try my best to be a doctor. I'll be Z 2.0. I can make knives and related items from scrap metal. I can make a mean mac and cheese. Hunting and tracking. I have a Bible. I can make gasoline from corn. Also generally knowledgeable about plumbing and building. I can roll a quarter across my knuckles. I can be used as food when the group runs out. I've been told by a large portion of my colleagues that I'm an incredibly good tactician. I find it easy to strategize with my constant second guessing. Plus I have a vast knowledge of many subjects. So I could teach the uprising generation. I can turn trash into treasure. I can offer moral support and sarcastic comments. I wouldn't last long. I'm an engineer where I specialized in water technology, so I know how to purify and treat drinking and water. Also I'm currently doing a PhD in organic chemistry, so I'm also pretty good with pharmaceuticals. I could teach people how to be the first ones to die. Nurse. Ex-infantry and I've through hiked the PCT, which is a pretty badass combo. Lots of cynicism though. Not great for morale. Remember that game in school where one person would be a shark and everyone else would be fish and would have to run the length of the gym without getting eaten? Tagged. I was undefeated through 12 years. I'm a chemical engineer and, based on a recent downvoted comment, I think I'm gonna be a king. At first, everyone will think I'm stupid, but after I get a chance to display my wizardry, yeah, I'll be good. I'll have a nice penthouse suit, assuming it's a zombie apocalypse. But if it's an Soviet-induced one, then an underground bunker. I will be given food and protection. Basically, I can scale up things. Water purification, fuel, some defensive weapons. We'll have ducking hot showers in winter. My focus was in biochem. So get me in touch with the right people. I can mass produce antibiotics. I'm a worst case scenario person, so I think of things that could go wrong others don't think about and overlook. So I guess my negativity. I'm also ruthless like Negan and have no problem killing someone if they threaten us or pose a threat. I know pretty good basic first aid and could be trained to be a doctor or nurse by another doctor or nurse. I keep a cool head in emergency scenarios. I have good driving skills. I'm good in the wilderness and woods. Not afraid of deep woods and have some survival skills out in a place like that. I solo hike. I was a combat medic for 15 years. So I could probably be of some use with injuries and some survival stuff. I can build things. I'm remarkably good at making everyone around me seem much more competent by comparison. I can sew, so I'd definitely be able to mend things. I'm also quite good with animals. I could milk a cow or a goat if needed. And care for chickens. Please don't ask me to butcher anything though. Well, I'm going into city planning, so I can definitely help plan and rebuild society. My dog and I can offer emotional support before everyone dies. Conversation buddy and occasional humor. I'm expendable. I've been on the national archery team and got the key to our club with thousands of arrows and some 60 bows, a kitchen and bath facilities. I'm good at tracking things. Mr. Feel entertaining. I cook. I clean. I garden. I hunt. I know guns. And I know plumbing. electrical, and welding. I also don't constantly show my emotion to everyone. Thank you for watching. Like, share and check out other videos.